Godot roguelike deck builder card game framework, part 5, the card viewer. In this lesson we will go over the final element in my framework, the card viewer. You've probably seen it a couple of times by now when you drag stuff to this pile. It will show it in the card viewer. Let's add more stuff. So once we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in a row, it puts the next card in the next row. And you can move the cards up and down, close it, open it. Let's go over the code for it. Another thing I showed you last time in the card pile, how it opens the card viewer. Basically, click action needs to be open card viewer, and then it does this. Makes it visible, adds the cards names array to the card viewer cards name array by duplicating the card names array, and then it calls the add cards methods of card viewer. So let's see the card viewer code. At the top we have a couple of attributes, one for holding the card names, one for holding the card scenes. This is the margin top of each card, margin left, space between cards. You've seen it in hand, it's almost the same. And the top space between cards, the Y space, and the maximum cards in a row, which is 5. At first we try to add the cards when we create it. If it's not visible, remove all cards, add cards. If the card names array is 0, don't do anything. Else, for each card name, add a scene by its name. Add it to the color rect, to this. And set its position to the card viewer's basic position, the one at the top here. And make the card view only, so the card functionality won't work. To show you, if you like do something like this, I can't do anything with that card. And append the card scene to card scenes array. Remove all cards. First you need to check if the card, once you loop all the card scenes, you check if the current card is a valid scene, so you won't get an error, and then you use Q3 to delete it from the scene. And at the end, after you delete all the cards, put an empty array inside the card scenes array instead of it. Oh, and after you add all the cards, you call order cards, which is the next method we will go over. So this is the row counter. This is the column counter, the regular increment, and we loop all the card scenes. And if the current card scene is not a valid instance, go to the next iteration in the loop. Go to the next card. Then we check if we need to do a new row. So if the column counter is bigger than the maximum cards in a row, bigger or equal to maximum cards in a row, which is 5. If it's a new row, set the column counter to 0 and add 1 to the row counter. So first we reset the position, we add the margin top, we add the top space between the cards, multiplied by the row counter, we add to the x the margin left, and then we add to the x the column counter, multiplied by the space between cards. So if it's a new row, this will be 0. It won't add anything. See, right, like here. And then it will gradually add the space it needs between the card. Like let's say it's card 3. This will be 3 multiplied by the space between cards, which is 170. And we'll add it to the X, and that way it will order the cards. And here we just increment the column counter and the regular iterator. Here we have all the button events for these 3 buttons: close, up and down. So on scroll up pressed, which is up, we scroll Y do -70, we decrease its Y value. Scroll Y do basically loops all the cards, and there is a condition if there are any cards, since if it's an empty array, don't do anything. So for each card, add to its Y axis the value from here, which in our case it's -70, and when you press down it adds 170. And when close is pressed, you make this screen visible into false, which also removes all the cards when it's not visible. And that's it for the card viewer. Once you know all this, I think you can create your own card game. If you have all this basic functionality, you can edit it and make it fit to your needs. And if you do use this screen, don't forget to disable the cards when you press it, or else you see something happened here. So basically in card pile, what you would do here in Open Card Viewer 2, you will have to get the hand like this and call the disable all cards in hand, and that's it. Yep, that's all there is for now for this framework. Maybe I'll add more lessons in the future. I'm planning to create more projects based on this framework as an example. And that's it for this lesson.